How old do you think music is? Well, we know that music is present in nearly every single human culture on our planet. And it goes back pretty far. You have the Western canon, dating back to Vivaldi and before. You have sitar music in India, where they play these beautiful ragas for hours on end. And then you have the gamelan in Indonesia, which just shows how music adapts for humans. It's a very humid, hot climate. And wooden instruments don't stand up well, so they created metal instruments. And they interweave these rhythmic lines that just swirl up and come together very beautifully. So, in order to have all of these common threads with music, it must be pretty ancient. And archaeology does back this up. Archaeologists in southwest Germany found these flutes made out of vulture bones. And they're pretty old, like 40,000 years old, about 30,000 years before the emergence of agriculture. So basically, our hunter-gatherer prehistoric ancestors were having these jam sessions around the fire at the end of the day with their friends and family, playing their vulture bone flutes and any other ancient instruments they may have had. But what were they singing about? Well, probably, the hottest gossip in the clan. They might have been narrating their day. They could have been telling about a big hunt that they had the previous season. And they were also probably singing about ancient deities, trying to explain the natural world around them. It seems like psychologically our brains are hardwired for music. We like to clap our hands to the rhythm. We get songs stuck in our head. We fill our lives with just the noise of music. We stream it, we play it, all these different things. We get excited when we hear our favorite song on the radio. We want our friends to sing along with it. And if a song happens to speak to a moment in our lives, we can get emotional. Great big emotions, crying. Sometimes we use that to our advantage when we want a good car cry. Music is a way of expressing big emotions that perhaps language just falls short in portraying. We use it when we're sad, when we're mad, when we feel the world is unjust. We use it as protest songs. It's a way of fixing the limitations of language. It should be no surprise then that some of the oldest music preserved has to do with these ancient deities. While it is difficult to know exactly what these songs sounded like as far as the music goes, we can still translate the words to understand exactly what they are talking about. And we have examples of this from Mesopotamia, Greece. It should be no surprise then that the ancient Hebrews sang about God, like a lot. In the Exodus story, they are given the Ten Commandments, and in the Ten Commandments, they are told that they are not to make any kind of idols or statues about their God. It was at a time that was very symbol heavy. Every major religion, every major god had some kind of statue, some kind of symbol that was them. Think of like the cat heads in Egypt, or the falcon heads, in the temples with all of these different statues of many different gods. But the God of the Hebrews demanded no statues whatsoever. So when the Hebrews were praying together or alone, they had no symbol that they could use to say, this is our God. this is who we are praying to. So how do they evoke God in those situations? Through music. There are many instances in the Old Testament of the people lifting their voice, rejoicing, playing the tambourine, blaring the horns. A lot of music. There's even the Book of Psalms, which are songs written for the whole gamut of human need. Songs to be sung at funerals, songs to be sung at weddings, songs for when you're happy, for when you're sad, when you're angry, when times are unjust, when times are just, when you're just wanting to praise God. So when this Jesus guy appears on the scene and Christianity springs out of Judaism, it's no surprise that they brought the singing with them. Now, this is not to say that there was only secular music happening at this time. In fact, we have a lot of traditions that stem from ancient traditions. Think work songs, drinking songs, funeral songs, party songs, dancing songs. It's more to say that there was kind of this movement where you had religious or sacred song occurring at the same time as secular song, and they move together. Sometimes they're exactly parallel, sometimes they kind of mingle together, and sometimes they're moving in completely different directions. In these next few videos, I am going to be talking a bit about this motion, this movement together, where the church started, where it's been as far as sacred music goes, how that compares to the secular movements in music, and where we are today, and what the church is now calling for. Buckle up, it's going to be a bumpy ride.